There's a pretty big problem with the current base design in my hardcore world. It's just simply not big enough. There's a lot more builds and farms I want to have on my island, like an animal barn, a proper tree farm, housing for my villagers, and heaps more. So let's get started on expanding my island into the ultimate survival base. Alright, so the master plan. I'm going to give you a quick rundown. So here is my entire island so far, and basically what I want to do is just expand out in every single direction and just add heaps of different stuff on that I need. Basically farms, villager houses, all kinds of stuff, and I do want to even upgrade a couple of things on my island here too. Like I want to upgrade this mine entrance. This is just kind of sad at the moment, and I want to replace this main farm with a couple of buildings as well. And so we are going to need an absolute metric ton of dirt to expand this island, and thankfully from this project, my last video where I built a couple of aesthetic automatic farms, I have a lot of leftover dirt. So yeah, here is all of the dirt that I have to my name. I mean, it's not even a double chest full, so it's definitely not going to be enough. But yeah, what I'm going to get started doing now is just simply expanding my island in every single direction. Honestly, I don't know how big I'm gonna go with this, so I'm gonna kind of just figure it out as I go. So yeah, let's get started. The first thing I did was figure out the proportions. Essentially, I wanted 2 rings with a pathway in between them, and I figured that having both rings at 7 blocks would be enough space. I then went around to the other half while placing some dirt and then extended that side out as well. I then just got straight into placing all of the dirt pathways. It was quite challenging to get the shape consistent and nice looking, mainly because our original island was nowhere near a perfect circle. And so with the entire front half of the island done, I moved on to the backside, this time making the pathway first. I also added a little bridge in this area for a future dock I have planned. Once I'd finished up this quarter, I moved on to the final area, with this one having some interesting strips of dirt. You'll see what they're for very shortly. Okay, and many hours later, here is our new expanded island, looking, well, kind of wonky, but we're not going to talk about that, okay? So you might be able to see some areas that look kind of interesting, like on the left there, we just have water. On the right, we have these strips, and that's because I have literally pre-planned where everything is going to go. Oh my god, dude, this guy. Okay, kind of scared. Nah, I'm not even gonna risk it, literally. Yeah, so I've got a couple of things, and I'm just going to fill out like the easiest ones that I can start with. And yeah, so starting with this area here, which is going to be our sugarcane farm. I know I built a fully automatic one over there, but just don't worry about it, okay? Now, the next thing, I literally want to make almost like half of this outer ring as a tree farm, because the most annoying thing for me right now is having to go into this forest all the way out there to harvest my trees. And having like almost all of this back area as our tree farm is actually going to be super handy. So I'm just going to place in a crap load of my saplings throughout this entire thing. All right, and I'll probably stop it like right here, because from here on, I'm probably gonna start some houses. And so next, from this section onwards to where it gets cut off, I want to make this all just simply bamboo. Once again, it's going to look really nice once it's grown in, but that's all I have at the moment. And yeah, so that's basically the easy stuff done. I think what we'll move on to next is this little dock area. So as you can see, I've built this like little bridge here that's going to allow us to sail in and out. So I'm going to grab a bunch of oak wood, and yeah, we'll start building that as a time lapse right now. So this build was fairly easy. All I did was add some oak slabs coming away from the main pathway, and at the ends, I simply added some dark oak fences with a lantern on top. Once those were done, I revisited the bridge and just smoothened it out a bit more to get it looking a bit better. All right, and that is looking pretty great, especially with those trees now grown in. Dude, that is that is gonna look awesome once they're all grown in. Okay, I've just made a couple of boats that I'm just gonna sprinkle into a couple of these little parking sections just to make it feel a bit more lively. You may have also noticed over here, I've placed in a bunch of these dirt blocks simply to bridge the grass over onto this side. I mean, I don't think it's really gonna matter because all of this is going to be farms actually, so that was all kind of for no reason, because I'm just going to be tilling it to frickin' farmland anyway. Speaking of farmland, why don't we just start working on that next? Pretty much from here all the way up to this end of the pathway here, I want to make this all like carrots, wheat, and potatoes and stuff. We'll also get a bit on the other side over here as well. So let's just get that knocked out with a bit of another time lapse right now. Well, I've actually just realized I don't even have any carrots, so I've just sailed over to the nearby village in hopes that they have some. Looks like I've already actually stolen from this farm. We do have another farm up ahead though. Let's pray there's some carrots, man. Oh, that looks like some carrots. Yes. Okay. I'm just literally going to yoink all of this stuff because why the hell not? Oh, we've even got some beetroot seeds too. That is going to be absolutely beautiful. Thanks, guys. Once again, I'm sorry for stealing your crops, but I need them more than you do. Oh, there's another farm over here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to head back to base and we'll finally get started on this farm. Oh, this guy's actually even replanting them. That's so cool. Yeah, thanks.
Excuse me, what's the actual
First off, I needed to grab some wheat seeds, and well, I was removing most of this farm anyway, so I just harvested almost all of it. I moved down to the very front of the expanded island and tilled this first piece of land for the wheat. I would then continue tilling land all the way up to the tree farm, planting in carrots, followed by some more wheat, and finally some spuds. Back to the front, this time on the left side, I wanted to add in some smaller fields and a bit of a different orientation, firstly planting in some wheat with some carrots right behind. To the left of these two, I planted beetroot and more wheat, finally followed by more wheat and some spuds. Alright, and here is our island so far, coming in very nicely. My favorite part is definitely all of these trees in the background, and those farms right at the front are going to grow in very nicely. I'm just, waiting for them to actually grow so I can keep planting them. Also, before I forget, I really want to actually start replanting these bamboo shoots here, and finally actually start using scaffolding because, using dirt is quite possibly the most annoying thing when it comes to building. Alright, well that's as much as I could get replanted for now. We still have quite a ways to go. I might also just quickly do the same thing for the sugarcane here as well. Alright, well there's all of the sugarcane I managed to get planted in. I mean, I could just literally go to my automatic farm. That's freaking the water wheel over there, but I'm kind of too lazy at the moment. Dude, I just can't get over how good this tree farm looks behind us. But yeah, so that is pretty much half of the expanded island filled in. We do have a lot more blank spots, as you can see. We got this massive area, and then off to the left side over there near the dock, we have some more space. And over there, I want to add in some buildings. Specifically in these areas, I want to add in some more diagonal houses as well. You know, I've had some good practice with diagonal houses over here. Some of them don't really look amazing. And literally this area is going to have some even smaller houses, so I'm going to have to try and figure out how to make them look good. Also, when it comes to this front area, I don't know if I want to leave this as like a water channel or just fill this in with a bridge. But yeah, I'll get that figured out eventually. So what I'm going to do now is just go and harvest a bunch of stone, a bunch of wood from my tree farm so that we can start building these little houses. So yeah, I'm just going to get all of that crap done and I'll meet you guys back here with the building. Alright, so for the first build, I decided on upgrading my cow's pen into a proper animal barn. I also decided on making this into a fully diagonal build, which would prove quite challenging, but I feel is definitely going to turn out awesome. I feel the roof is always the most challenging part for diagonal builds, but with my previous experience, I managed to get this one built with relatively no stress. Dude, I don't know where I pulled that from, but this roof is actually looking fabulous. Like, I didn't think it was possible for a diagonal roof that I built to look this good. Like, you can kind of see the comparison over there at my other village, and yeah, dude, it doesn't even compare. But now the problem is, how do we make a sort of barn style... Okay, you're right there, just dying off camera, like freaking hell, man, what are you doing? Yeah, making a barn style kind of entrance diagonally is definitely going to be very hard. Man, I'm actually like completely stumped. I don't know how to do this. Well, that's a good start at least. Let's definitely get something like that going. And dude, actually, I think this is going to look really nice. Let's get something like that. What if we actually put this wall like this? Maybe let's get some fences like so. How are we feeling about that? I don't know. It kind of, it's lacking a bit of detail. Let's get a slab there. Honestly, it's not too bad, but yeah, it's definitely lacking detail. Let me try something like this. Yeah, that just looks kind of weird, honestly. What if we did a single lantern coming down like this from the roof? Honestly, that's not too bad. I kind of like that, actually. That's all right. Maybe let's just put some like trap doors on the walls there for a little bit of detail. Maybe we can even wrap this around to the other side. Oh, dude, that's looking pretty good, actually. What the hell? It's still a little bit under detailed, but honestly, I think that's as good as it's going to get for a diagonal style barn freaking wall here. Now, I think for this back wall, I'm definitely just going to make it like a straight up plain ass wall. And I think I'll just repeat that for the back as well, because it's literally just facing a wall anyway. It's not really going to look that good if we have a window here. All right, and there we have it. There's a actually really cool diagonal animal barn. I'm actually so happy with how that turned out. There we go. Just got some of those same details, but without a door here. I think that looks good. And yeah, dude, we have actually a lot of room for activities in here. All right, continuing on with our interior here, I'm going to do something like that, and then just place 2 fence gates there like that. I think that's gonna look pretty good. Chuck a lantern there, why the bloody hell not? I've also gone and grabbed some coarse dirt to sprinkle around in here, because it always looks good for a barn when you just have heaps of coarse dirt on the ground. It makes it look more barn-like, and like they're actually like pooing on the soil and stuff, I guess. I don't really know what it's meant to do. Back out of this front area, I definitely want like heaps of hay bales and just like random various storage stuff. And actually in the barn, why not? We'll put in some more hay bale stacks like this. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. We definitely need more lighting, actually. There we go, not too bad. I'm gonna go grab all of our gentlemen from our pen over here, and oh, this is actually gonna be a freaking pain in the ass, man. I need to fill all of this in. Okay, we might as well well just deal with whatever I'm going to do with this. I don't think I'm going to leave it as a channel. I think I'm going to just connect a bridge up to the mainland here. So yeah, I'll get started on the time lapse of doing that and also moving our cows. After fending off a rabid flaming zombie, I worked on removing all of the previous wooden dock and started replacing it with our stone bridge. I also made sure to fill the gaps beside our path with some dirt too. After connecting the bridge to the mainland, I then began moving our cows over to their brand spanking new home I built for them. I then definitely felt we'd need to connect the path to the barn, so I did just that. Taking a look around, I'd noticed a lot of my crops had fully grown in, so I just spent some time going around to all my crop farms, harvesting all the grown crops and replanting them to get everything fully established. After finalizing the potatoes, I then moved on to the sugarcane rows, and I mean, taking a look at them from this angle, I think they're looking super cool. Finally, we just had the bamboo left to do, which was of course pretty easy to get fully planted in. Dude, this island expansion is shaping up to be the most awesome thing I swear I've ever built, dude. This is looking so good so far. We do still have quite a bit of work left to do though. Over here we've got quite a fair bit of blank space that I'm wanting to fill up with just some various house designs. We've got a little bit more blank space over near the barns and also behind my trading hall over there. But first I think let's get started on this little spot down here. Well, these two spots actually. I think I just want to place in a bunch of regular like kind of villager housing around here. And I have a couple of really cool ideas to get these houses looking absolutely amazing. So let's get started. So for this first spot, I definitely felt a diagonal house would fit perfectly here. And after playing around with the positioning, I eventually got the framework laid out. It was then onto tackling the roof, which ended up being quite a painus in the anus due to the unique shape. I did get there in the end though, using our block palette consisting of oak slabs and deep slate tiles and bricks. Now finally for the walls, I tried adding as much detail as I could, which ended up not being much, so I just supplemented it with some pot plants outside. Moving over to the opposite side, I laid out the frames for the next couple of houses and got started on the first one, which was to be a simple square house. And dude, it's crazy how easy it feels to build a regular house after doing diagonal ones. It's so weird. But yeah, continuing on to the next house, this one was a bit of a tight squeeze, so I ended up having to shrink it down to 6 blocks long so it wasn't directly touching the adjacent house. I finished up all of the detail work for this house and then moved over to the final one for this section, just another simple square house. Now, we did still have quite a bit of space left over in this area, and honestly, I just felt more houses wouldn't look that good, so I just filled it in with some other details. Moving over to the blank section in front of the animal barn, I felt a horse stable would fit in quite nicely for whenever I actually get some horses. The framework took a couple of tries to get right as I wanted it to feel slightly angled but not actually diagonal, and in the end I'm pretty happy with the shape. I then started on the details and the walls, opting for a pretty open design so it feels more like a horse stable. For the details I added some arches and lanterns at the front along with plenty of scattered hay bales. Now onto the area behind the barn. Once again, I went with another house that was sort of diagonal, and it actually ended up being a massive pain. The frame and the roof was hard to get figured out, but after a lot of destroying and rebuilding, I sort of got there in the end. The walls were also a bit tricky and ended up looking a bit weird, but moving on, the final little section here was a bit too small to fit a full house, so I just built a roofed area that'd house some random stuff. Alright, and with those final houses done, this is how our island is looking so far. And dude, literally this is shaping up to, I know I've already said it, but this is probably the best build overall that I've ever made, I think. This whole area looks so nice, and I think the diagonal houses are definitely what's aiding in making that look really cool as well. But even with all of that, we are definitely still not done. We have this whole area behind our trading hall here. That's actually still farmland, but what I want to do is grab some bloody dirt. Give me a goddamn second. And I'm just going to start filling in all of these water spots, I guess. So I want all of this to turn back into just regular grass, because back here I want to add in a big old blacksmith building. But before we get to that, well, you know, in the meantime, while this is all turning back into grass, what I want to do now is actually completely transform and upgrade our mine entrance here. I want to turn this thing into like a pretty tall tower, and we'll even have storage in there and just random decorations and stuff. Because yeah, I definitely think it's time for a little bit of an overhaul on this tiny little piece of basically rubble here. And so I think I want this thing to mainly consist of stone, of which, yeah, that's pretty much all that I have left to my name. So I'm actually going to head down into the mine here. I'm going to mine out a whole bunch of stone, and then we'll pretty much just get started on the mining tower. All right, so one of my favorite builders is Sword Self MC. They make some truly inspiring builds, but there's just something really special about them. They're honestly pretty blocky and lack a lot of detail, but Sword Self just does such a good job with the shape and gradients and roofs that honestly just make these builds look absolutely absolutely amazing. So I just kind of want to channel that energy and inspiration into this tower, just for something a little bit different. So there's the entire mine entrance destroyed and gone. I've got a bunch of stone and stone bricks that I've just mined out, and I'm going to use these to make a bit of like a textured stone tower. Usually, you know, I love using pillars in builds. I use those to frame out the build, but Sword Self does not do that whatsoever for their like kind of stone towers, at least. They essentially just do like a big rectangle, and it just looks so good, and I'm kind of afraid that it's not going to look good when I do it, so we're going to see how it goes, I guess. But essentially, I want to get the shape down and looking good, and I also want it to be slightly larger than the actual mine entrance so we have some room here. You can see, even just instinctively, I'm placing down freaking pillar blocks, man. Like, Jesus Christ. I need to stop doing that. For this build at least. Yeah, so my plan is to literally just make a giant textured rectangle, and I don't know, I'm just gonna kind of figure it out from there, I guess. Alright, so you guessed it, I just started building a giant textured rectangle consisting of stone and stone bricks. Once I got to about 10 blocks tall, I started adding some windows, which were just a couple stairs. I also repeated this up every 2 blocks and also on every side of the walls. It was tricky figuring out how tall I wanted this tower to be, and in the end I decided on raising the stone and stone bricks up to about 15 blocks high, and then started on a bit of a gradient using the new tough bricks and polished tough. They combine well with the stone as it's a pretty similar shade, and to get the gradient looking nice, I made sure to blend it with the stone well. A handy tip with gradients is to make sure you don't have a harsh cutoff line. Like you can see here, I'm making sure to spread stone into the tough side and vice versa with the tough into the stone side. With the body of the tower done, it's time to get started on the roof, first with a couple details using some stairs, fences, and fence gates. I added a ring of oak planks above this and expanded out again with the start of the roof using textured deep slate tiles and bricks. It was then time to create the main shape of the roof, which I did using a bit of a technique I'm working on to get a decent shape. It took a bit of reworking to get looking good, but in the end, I think it turned out really nice. Alright, and there is our tower all completed. Oh my god, I just realized I put that window in wrong. Look at that. Honestly, no, actually, I don't like it. I'm gonna fix that real quick. Okay, let's try again. There we have the completed mine entrance tower, and dude, this thing turned out so good. Look at that. Let's get it in the sun. Oh my god, that's a very bright. But yeah, this thing actually turned out way better than I thought it would. I did also decide on doing a gradient as mentioned in the time lapse. However, I kind of wish I'd like made this go all the way kind of halfway down, not just kind of at the top, but I mean, it still looks pretty good, I guess. So that's the exterior done. Now we have to, of course, head inside and do something with this, because right now it's just a gaping hole on the floor. I would like to get a ladder up in here and a couple of floors with just some various details. Oh my god, this bloke, what is he doing? He's just chilling under the freaking bridge, man. All right, I'm back with a bunch of detailing blocks. First, I do want to just add a little bit of a thing dingle there so that, you know, we can kind of walk around. I think I'll put the ladder on this wall. Why the bloody hell not? I'm just going to have this extend up to about yay. And now it's time to just simply start adding in some floors here. So just give me a second. I will get this floor, and that floor all added in. All right, so first floor down here, I'm definitely thinking just a couple of like various storage blocks are going to look quite nice. Actually, I think we might even replace this barrel with a stone cutter. I don't know, mine stone cutter kind of makes sense, I guess. And I do also want to add a lantern here too. And yeah, let's head up to the next floor. I'm going to add in that same lantern. I'm just going to do it up here as well. So up here, I think let's maybe add in a couple of little house plants or tower plants, however you want to call it, I guess. And then maybe let's get like a big table on this side. And I honestly don't really have anything to put on it other than chests. So let's just get some chests sprinkled on here. Man, I really need to like spend some time getting some like actual tabletop decorations, because yeah, honestly, I don't think we're ever going to come up here. So this is just like, I don't know, random details that we don't really need to be doing, I guess. I'm not going to spend a crazy amount of time on them. And well, I guess up here could be like living quarters or something. Maybe let's put like a bed over here. We may as well just get another one of these houseplants in. Why the hell not? Over here could be our crafting. Maybe on this side, a little bit of storage. And there we go. That's just like a cute, quick, and simple little interior built. Oh my god. Okay. Settle down, buddy. See, that's when Bane of Arthropods. Bloody hell, it's beautiful. Spiders are actually so annoying to kill. So getting them done in one shot. Oh, okay. This guy, though. Where's frickin' Bane of Creepers when you need it, dude? Why doesn't that exist? I would take that enchantment over sharpness in a goddamn heartbeat. I'm not even kidding. That is our big, beautiful tower, fully done, fully furnished. Now all that's left to do is our blacksmith building that I have planned to add in right here. And well, I think what I'm gonna do is maybe head over to Google and get a good reference image and just build this based on a reference, because I think that's gonna be pretty cool. All right, and just a cool tip, if you're ever looking for some reference on Google like I am right now, and you don't wanna be, you know, using other people's people's Minecraft builds like this. I kind of just want to use reference that looks more like this, where it's like a 3D model or something. All you have to do up here is just type in -Minecraft. And now that is going to show basically all of the listings that basically, yeah, don't have the name Minecraft in them. So say, for instance, maybe you didn't want Lego as well. So you could type in after that -Lego. And now you're pretty much only going to see like 3D models, nothing that has like Minecraft or Lego. So yeah, I'm going to spend some time trying to find a really cool looking reference here, and then we'll get started on the time lapse. All right, so here is the reference I ended up choosing. And after getting a bit of landscape done, I got straight into getting the positioning and framework laid out. Next, I began filling in the first floor walls with some textured stone and stone bricks, and then started on the left side supports that'd hold up the second floor, as well as getting all of the second floor pillars established. With all the pillars laid out, I moved on to adding in the first wall design, complete with some pot plants, until realizing there was actually a big old chimney going here, so I replaced it with that instead. As for the rest of the walls, I just added in a pretty simple design consisting of 2 windows per wall, each with a pot plant below with an oak sapling and a daisy. Now up to the roof, I went with the matching block palette for every other building on my island just to keep it consistent, which is an oak trim using slabs and stairs, and then textured deep slate bricks and tiles for the main body of the roof. With the front side done, I completely filled in the back side and then transitioned down to the interior to replace the ground with stone and stone bricks, as well as lowering the floor 1 block as well. Now back to the outside, we had a roofed area just in front of the chimney we had to add in, and first I built a stone and stone brick foundation, followed by a roof of oak slabs and trapdoors. I then just moved on to some general detailing, and you'll have to excuse this fence post that blocks the view for a second, my apologies. So on this left side, I added a bunch of fences and fence gates, and then went around the entirety of the building and added these support things in front of every pillar that hold up the roof, I guess. I also added a couple barrels and chests to this wall here. Alright, and there is the exterior for our blacksmith build all done. This thing turned out super awesome and super different from my usual style as well. Pretty much all thanks to the reference I was following. Now, continuing following that reference, we do have a furnace out here that is connected to this big old chimney. So let's get started adding this in. And then I want to build up this entire like left side kind of to match the chimney so we have something symmetrical. And that looks way too big. Okay, never mind. We're not making it symmetrical anymore. We're just gonna do something like that. Yeah, that looks way better. All right, and well, this isn't actually in the reference, but my next idea is to just kind of detail this outside area a little bit. So I want to put some stripped logs here for a bit of a table, and then I kind of want to have 2 like workstations on each side. So let's get an anvil placed here. We'll get one on the other side too. And then I want to add some like dunking buckets or quenching buckets. I can't remember what they're actually called, but okay. So there is our quenching buckets done. And this little outside workstation area is looking awesome. I definitely do want to maybe get some that is not what I meant to do. Extinguish logs off to the side as if they're kind of fuel for this furnace here. That looks good though. I'm happy with that. Let's go inside, god damn it. Well, first up, I definitely do need to get a bit of a ceiling added in, so let's get that slapped in real quick. And I kind of want the downstairs to be a little bit more of like an extended workspace from over here. So maybe let's place some, they're not lanterns, what the hell am I saying? Place some anvils there, and then we'll get like a big old table at the back once again. And I'm just gonna make a couple more things. Give me a second. All right, I'm back with a couple of different items. The first being some item frames and some of my old tools, because yeah, I want to just detail the hell out of this area. Back over this way, I want to add in a couple of little sinks, maybe in this corner here. Then something I like doing in like blacksmith areas is having kind of like these racks that hold items like that. And then in there, I can just put in maybe like this freaking bow that I just got from a skeleton I killed and some of my old iron tools. Now over in this corner could maybe be some like wood storage for like fuel for the furnace outside. And I guess this is going to be kind of the like living quarters, and well, I need a bed for that, so I'm gonna have to go frickin' hunt down some goddamn sheep. Give me a second, I'll be back. Okay, I am back with a bed and a couple other things. Now the only problem is, where the hell do we add a bed? And I think maybe there is gonna be the most logical position. I also did grab a bunch of composters and some leaves to add some house plants just in kind of every corner of the house, because it just, man, they look so nice. Okay, now just to add a little bit of depth to this, because it is like a very flat kind of thing, some oak signs are going to look very nice there. Bang, bang, there we go. Now we have a little gap here for like a table. Let's chuck on, I don't know, a goddamn campfire. Beside the bed here, let's have some bedside tables, and then maybe just some more like general storage kind of beside these. I guess just as a final little detail, maybe like a stone cutter over here. I'm very happy with this interior and the downstairs and the exterior. Dude, this is looking awesome. All right, and so that is pretty much going to do it for our island upgrade of this episode. We got so much stuff done, and if you want to download and explore this entire island for yourself, as well as any other builds in this world, like my village over there and my aesthetic farms back there, be sure to check out my Patreon, as the downloads are all available over there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.